Well, hello and welcome to this next conversation for the month of May, where we're going to be talking to my friend, but also Arrupe graduate from the class of 2021, Angel Rubi Navarijo. Super happy to chat with you about the importance of support when it comes to transferring from a two-year college, in this case, Arrupe College, to, in your case, Loyola University Chicago. And we're just gonna get your perspective and your insight when it comes to that type of support and how it's been for you. So why don't we start with you introducing yourself a little bit? Maybe tell us your major, what grade level you're in, and your current occupation.
Thanks, Carlos. Excited to be here with you today. So yeah, sure. My major is political science, and I have a minor in global studies. I'm a current senior. I'm an outgoing senior, actually. I graduate next week, so I'm excited about that. And my current occupation right now is constituent services coordinator for 40th Ward Alderman Andre Vasquez.
That's amazing. Congrats. I know the feeling. I've been there and I'm excited to see what comes next for you. I'm sure you're going to have an amazing career because we know you and you're very talented and very passionate about everything you do. So
Thank
thank
you.
you for talking with me. So the first question that I have, um, can you tell us about why you chose to apply to Arrupe and ultimately enroll in Loyola after completing your 2 years?
Yeah, so I think immediately one of the first reasons I applied was the environment. As soon as I walked into Arrupe and Isabel Reyes gave me a tour, I knew that I wanted to be in an environment where not only I can focus, but be supported. And so when I went to the second floor at Arrupe and I saw like the dean's suite and, Nicole and Ernest and, the market and just this incredible space and the access that I have to the beautiful campus, I just fell in love. There was no other college or university that matched that sort of support. And I knew that, I was going through some difficult personal situations, and I knew that Arrupe would be the perfect school to offer that wraparound services to me as a incoming freshman. So, and then ultimately I decided to continue at Loyola because I felt that love. I felt that presence. I also felt that investment. And so I wanted to continue doing that and really focus on my academics at Loyola, which is what I did.
That's amazing. That's really cool that you get to have that experience. And it seems like that resonates with a lot of us because I relate to everything you just mentioned. The next question that I have, can you tell us a bit about your experience as a current Loyola University Chicago student and what are some of the highlights?
Yeah, so like I said before, I was extremely involved with student organizations and whatnot at Arrupe, but my main focus coming into Loyola as a transfer student was really focusing on my academics. So I really, really enjoyed the array of academic support that there is at Loyola. There's a lot of resources and opportunity for you to get tutoring, to get mentorship, and now it has expanded even more as I'm outgoing. So I really think that that has been one of the highlights of my experience. And then obviously just being able to be involved on the campus. I've found, one student organization that I really enjoyed. Getting involved with the alumni boards, that has been extremely satisfying and hard work, and I really enjoyed that.
That's so cool. And congrats on the academic part. It's very hard, but it sounds like you're very, yeah, passionate about your studies and doing well in that way. The next question that I have, prior to transferring to Loyola, what type of support did Arrupe provide you with regarding the transfer process?
Yeah, so Colleen was really helpful. She was one of the transfer coordinators at the time. And, we talked a lot about what daily life at Loyola looks like, what the academic side looks like. I know Christina was a huge help when I was doing UNIV, when I transferred to Loyola. So Arrupe did provide that sort of transitionary, support, which I appreciated. And it's not so much about the academics and whatnot, because we already know that Arrupe is already academically rigorous as is because of his full-time schedule. But it's more of like, how do I assimilate into a community that's a lot bigger? It's a lot larger. Even though we were already part of that community at Arrupe, we were always at Arrupe. So And then Loyola obviously came in and provided support of what programs they may have that Arrupe students may be interested in. So that was extremely important to me.
Cool. And we love Colleen over here. She's super helpful, and we're glad that Arrupe was able to provide you and everyone else at Arrupe with that type of support. The next question: what supports did you receive when it came to Loyola as a and Arrupe together as a combination when you were, well, right now as a current student at Loyola? What were the type of support that you received?
From Loyola, I think the career services aspect was really great. I know that I really think Arrupe students are very competitive candidates for different sorts of programs, jobs, whatever it may be. And like the career services at Loyola offered me that support, even coming out of Arrupe, thanks to the hard work of Leah. So that transition with career services was important to me because I was coming in with a lot of internship experience, a lot of different sorts of ranges of experience, and I needed to learn how to say that in a way to employers, especially now that I'm in a bigger competitive pool of applicants. I wanted to stand out, and career services really did that for me.
That is definitely very important, and I think I relate to that a lot just based on my experience as well. They are really good about obviously the academic aspect, but also giving you the tools to become a professional, right? To actually get started with your career. So that's really cool to hear. The next question that I have: what other type of supports would you like to see for Aruba students that are currently at Loyola, or just in general for transfer students that may be going into other universities?
Yeah, obviously Loyola is great, but there's a lot of room for improvement, I think, with the transfer student support. I think the community needs to be a lot more embedded within itself. And what I mean by that is like the commuter lounge, for example, is there. Everything's fine. But there's no sort of like orientation or sort of like community that surrounds when you transfer. It's sort of like here you're here, now go find what community you'd like to be a part of. I feel like it should be you're here are others who are going through that same experience, you know, indulge in your support or go and then join different communities at Loyola. So I think that's something that could definitely be improved. I think also support for undocumented students who may not have Social Security and aren't able to get those internships or scholarships at Loyola is extremely important as well. And I also think that there needs to be a little bit more transfer support. But other than that, I really think that Loyola is trying really hard to make an investment in these sorts of schools and colleges and communities. And I think it's very impressive, and it's also very heartwarming to know that there's like institutions like Loyola who are dedicating themselves to trying to make this a better system for folks.
That's amazing to hear, and definitely agree that there are those areas for improvement when it comes to Loyola. And it's good that we have students like you who are willing and just honest about their experience and that are committed to also seeing other students being successful. That's one of the things that I believe Loyola and Arrupe do really well,
Yeah.
instilling this sense of like caring for each other and like, okay, yes, you're outgoing, you're about to head out from Loyola, but you're still very involved in that process, right? So that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the next question that I have: what advice do you have for those current Aruba students who are thinking about transferring to Loyola after graduation?
I say do it because the more people do it, the more example we set for others. So I think definitely go for it. Take the risk. Go like just transfer, even if you may feel a little overwhelmed or lost at first, and then find community as soon as you get to Loyola. Like make that one of your priorities. I think it's extremely important to keep yourself grounded while you're trying to do 10 million other things. I know I wish I would have done that more when I transferred to Loyola. Just kind of settle down, look at the community more, and try to embed myself in community when I first got there. But take advantage of the resources Loyola has to offer. They have a lot, too much sometimes. I don't even know half of the resources, but that's fine. I'd rather have too much than none at all. So that's my advice to Arrupe students. Just go for it, find community, and take advantage. Yeah.
That's a great piece of advice for any, I think for any transfer student really, to really
Yeah.
try to find that type of community anywhere they transfer to after Arrupe. If you don't mind me adding one more question before the
Hmm.
last one,
Yeah.
if you were to give a shout out to someone at Loyola University who was, one of your biggest supporters, who would that be and how did they support you?
Man, that's tough.
And if you think of an Arupa person instead, that's okay too. Anyone
Yeah,
that
I
has been
mean,
really important to you.
definitely Arrupe people, but trying to think of Loyola folks. I really appreciated someone named Hiba. She works in the alumni relations. She was absolutely amazing to me, and being a support and a mentor and just being that guidance for me, while I was navigating myself through Loyola. And then I also have to give a shout out to Dr. Yuna, who was a professor of mine, who believed in me, who was a mentor to me, who amplified my voice in class. So I really appreciate those two folks. And then all the alumni board folks, like the Loyola Latino alumni board, like Nancy and Michael and Karen from the Black alumni board. Just everybody was just so supportive. I really leaned on that alumni network, and it was really empowering for me to see other alumni do so great, such as yourself as well, Carlos. So I really think everybody there. There was a community, but if I were to give a shout out, I feel like it would be those two. They were directly the most involved. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really nice for you to be able to, I mean, have those type of people that you can, connect with and rely on whenever you need support.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that students that are coming into Loyola will also have that. Uh, so, but yeah, thank you for sharing that. And the very last question, what advice do you have for the faculty and the staff members about how to best support students in the transfer process?
Man, I truly think the classroom is the best way to do any sort of outreach for students. Just from my experience at Loyola, I know engagement and outreach has been a challenge for universities and colleges across the country, not just Loyola. So really use your classrooms as a method of outreach and understanding and mentorship for students. That will really help. And then also transfers are still students. Even though they're transfers, they are still students, and they just decided to come to that institution or this institution to better themselves. So offer that support, amplify their voices in class, and like be advocates and be honest about the support that they may need, the faculty and staff may need to better support the transfer students. So that would be my advice to them.
Great. Well, those were all the questions, and really exciting to see again what comes next for you. Um, but yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to add. If not, I think we're good.
We need more rupes is what we need.
That is very true, and that's
Yeah.
what we're working
So
for.
that's all I
So
gotta say. Yeah.
thank you so much, Angel, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.